Your Honor,
Yes,
my pronouns are they, them instead of she, her.
thank you. Okay, I'll work on that. All right, so I've had an opportunity before today and today to kind of re-review all that your request here, and you're asking for this order against your parent here. And you're 21?
Yes.
Okay, and you've lived apart how long?
I moved out when I was 18.
Okay, so good 3 years almost. All
Yes.
right. And this kind of came up because of that note that you filed with your information here,
Yes, Your Honor.
handwritten note. That's why you're here.
That and
What
the
started it.
yes, that is what started it.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have come to court.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So tell me why you believe this is unlawful harassment.
About in 2022, I did request that the respondent not contact me because of things that I went through with them in my childhood that I did also document on here as well. When I initially asked for that, they seemed understanding and they made it seem like they would listen. So I didn't feel it necessary to take legal action at that time.
How did you tell your parent not to contact you?
I made a phone call and I have exactly what I said to them during said phone call written down here as well. Let me find it real quick.
So when in 2022 is that?
I have the date written down. Give me
In your
just a moment.
petition?
Yes, it
What
is.
page?
I'm not quite sure yet. Sorry.
Okay, tell me when you find it. I can read it, but I just need to know where. It's
Yeah, of course.
2022. I have 2022 beginning page, well, it's 101. You say page 11 to 13. And
Okay. It's on. So it was 2023. My mistake. I apologize.
so what page?
It's on starts on page 11 of 13
Okay.
and finishes on page 12 of 13.
So this was a phone call.
Yes.
All right. So was this a message left or was this a direct
It
contact?
was a direct contact. I just wrote myself a little spiel before the phone call because I get very anxious in situations like this. I wanted to make sure I knew what to say.
All right. Was there any response to your?
Yes, they agreed initially that they would not contact me and they asked that I send them the same photo of what I said. And I did just that.
So you sent a photo of your script?
Yes.
Somehow. How did you send that?
Via their phone number.
Okay, so a text or something?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. All right. So that was, that's saying March 26th of 2022. And so we're here and you came in September of 2025. So just over 3.5 years. And so now we're here because you get this note, handwritten note. And how do you know this was from Elias Trinan?
Well, I have here the envelope that the note was delivered in that has their handwriting as well as their address on it. And I also know their handwriting from growing up with them, honestly.
Okay, and the guts of it or the context, is that
Yes.
also telling you something?
Yes, I feel that it was their classic signs of manipulation, trying to get me back into their
I'm
life.
just trying, I'm still on the issue of trying to make sure you know that this is Elias Trinan sending you this note.
Yes.
Okay, so it's handwritten, you recognize the handwriting.
I also have a
envelope itself.
card that the note came with that is signed by them as well.
So there's something else that you didn't file with the court?
Yes.
Okay, all right, a greeting card of some nature?
Yes.
But it's this note that caused you to come
Yes.
to court. And this you received July 24th, but you didn't come to court till September. Tell me about that.
So originally I was going to just let it be and not respond to them, but then I got word that they're moving 2 streets away from me in my neighborhood, and that caused immense mental distress to me as soon as I got word of it.
So where'd you get word of that? From whom?
My brother that currently still lives with the respondent.
Okay, and your brother said we're moving close to you within 2 blocks?
Yes.
All right, did that happen?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, and so you haven't heard from your brother?
I have not heard from him since I filed this petition.
Okay, so you don't know. And so your brother and your parent knew that you were where you were living at the time?
Yes.
Okay. How far away were they before this?
I believe they were living in Rainier, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so you're thinking somewhere else in the county,
Yes.
about a half hour away by car, okay. All right, so you come into court when you get that information from your brother, you don't know if it's happened or not. If your parent hadn't moved to 2 blocks away, would you have come to court?
I don't believe so. I believe I would have continued the no contact as it was and continued ignoring their advances.
Okay. Ignoring, so was there something between March of 22 and September of 2025? No. Okay, so there hasn't been any contact
No.
from them that you're aware of. All right, so no notes, no phone calls,
No.
no nothing. All right, you initiated the March 22 event to say, don't contact me.
Yes.
And then you hear from your brother. So, all right, so your concern is what?
I'm concerned that them being so close to me will give them easy access to contact me again, which will cause more mental distress on my part.
Okay.
When they
And
contacted me with this letter, I had a full-blown panic attack and started hyperventilating, and my mother or my stepmother had to help calm me down, and my dad had to come over and help calm me down as well because I physically could not get control of myself.
okay. So part of this is that substantial emotional distress caused. Tell me more about, so obviously there wasn't any for the last 3.5 years,
Yes.
but this note comes from your parent and then your brother, but that doesn't cause, well, the note caused some distress, but then a month and a half later, after you hear they may be coming to live close by, did you have an attack then? What
I did,
happened then?
yes. I got full body chills and again started hyperventilating and shaking. It wasn't as bad as the first one because I knew that I was safe and in my home around people who love me and will support me no matter what I do. But I did indeed, in fact, have another panic attack at that time, yes.
All right. Why do you call it a panic attack?
Because I've been diagnosed with a panic disorder and have been told that it is panic attacks.
Okay, so recently diagnosed?
Yes,
What does recently mean?
2 years ago.
Okay, so that was in 2023?
Yes,
All right, and are you receiving any kind of treatment or medication?
not currently.
Okay, so you don't need that. How do you deal with this?
Currently, I'm working with my support system and my PCP to figure out non-medical ways, non-medicational ways to interfere.
So there's no meetings with therapists or anything?
Not currently, no.
And no medication that needs to be taken?
Not currently, no.
You can work with your support folks and they can help pull you kind of back down to ground
Yes.
if this happens.
Yes.
And how long does that take?
How long does getting me calm take?
Yeah.
It
generally.
varies depending on the situation. The first instance that I just spoke of, it took about 45 minutes for me to fully calm down again. The second situation only took about 25 minutes.
Okay. And do you live with your support system?
Yes, I live with my
Okay.
stepmother and my father.
All right, so they're right there. Does any of this affect your ability to work or go to school? Or
Yes, I am unable
okay.
to work currently because I have so severe panic attacks leaving the house.
Okay, and are those associated with anything other than your
My
parent?
past psychiatrist was believed that my diagnosed agoraphobia was a direct relation to the things that I experienced in my childhood.
Okay, all right. And experience in your childhood means this parent?
Yes,
Okay, from the things you detailed in your petition.
yes, Your Honor.
All right. And have you ever held a job?
Yes,
Okay, what did you do?
I worked at Colonial Inn as a waitress. I worked at Ulta Beauty as a beauty advisor. And when I was younger, I also worked at my family business.
Okay, with your parent?
Yes,
Okay, and when was the last time you were able to hold a job?
this time last year.
So September of 24,
Yes,
all right? And that was after you received this greeting card and note from your parent and,
no, the
No?
greeting card and note came in July
oh, July of
this year.
this year, excuse me, right. All right, so did something happen in and around September of last year?
I had just had to miss so much time from my current job due to being ill, physically ill from my anxiety, that it was recommended to me that I quit until I can get my anxiety under control again to a place where I can work a physical job again.
Okay, and so before July of this year, were you closing in on that ability or not?
No,
No. Okay, so this, how would you say the July note, did it set you back, keep you in the same place? What?
it definitely set me back. I had gotten a lot better about leaving my house. For a while, I would only leave with certain people who I felt safe with, and certain people who I felt would protect me if something did end up happening in public, any sort of altercation or anything. And recently I felt safe enough to leave the house by myself for short periods of time until the note came through, and then immediately all the same old feelings came running back, and I'm terrified to go anywhere without anyone.
So since July of this year, now in September, how often do you think you've left your home on your own?
On my own, maybe twice since then.
Twice. And what caused you to leave by yourself?
Once was a dental appointment where I could not get a ride, and another time we needed something from the corner store that's literally 2 blocks away. So I felt that that was close enough to my safe space.
All right. Okay. So you detail going through several years of your life from small to where you are now. Was law enforcement ever involved in some of these things?
When I was younger, law enforcement was called by a family friend, and CPS did open a case on my family at a young age. Not sure how old I was at that time, but the case ended up being dismissed.
Okay. Do you think you were above or below 10 years old?
Below.
Okay. Do you think less than 5 or?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So less than 10 years old. You think you remember Child Protective Services? Did you go into care somewhere else?
No.
No. So you stayed home with this parent and CPS put services into the home as best you can remember? No?
I don't. I've only been
Don't
told
know.
the story, honestly.
Okay, that's fair. I can't imagine you would know much. All right. So CPS has been involved, at least you think. You were told a story by someone else. And then any other law enforcement contact about the things you said in your petition?
No.
No. All right. That was and you lived with this parent all the way until you were 18.
Yes, and when I was 18, I moved out.
And you're asking, we should do a temporary order that doesn't allow any kind of contact of any sort to stay 1,000 feet away.
I requested 500 feet.
That's right, it says 500. All right, and why did you request 500?
Because I don't want to ruin their lives. I don't want to change any plans that they may have. So if they do have a genuine reason for moving to my neighborhood, then I don't want to ruin that for them, and I don't want to ruin that for my brother. But I do feel that I need something in place so that I can feel safe in my own neighborhood.
How old is your brother?
He's 23.
Okay, so he's an adult.
Yes.
And do you have contact with him, it sounds like?
Off and on, yes.
Okay, and that's not the issue. The issue is this parent that
Yes.
you're filing against. All right. And you live with your biological father and your stepmom.
Yes.
And up until 18, were you living with your father?
I
and
was
the
living
parent?
with my mother up until 18. Then I moved in with my partner of 5 years for about 2 years. And then I moved in with my father last year.
Okay, so you didn't live with your father when you were a kid?
No.
Okay, all right. So that was a question. Who's Miss Molly?
My service dog.
I'm talking to
I'm
this
sorry.
person. That's all right. I'll hear from you. But so that's a dog. And is it the dog that's here?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And how do you know Ms. Molly?
She was my childhood dog.
Okay. So all right. And so the information about Ms. Molly and set up times for you to be together with her, how did that affect you?
One of the tactics that I have noticed a lot over the years has been the respondent using Molly as a bargaining chip with me. A lot of the time, They will tell me things like what you see in the letter saying that I can see her anytime. The defendant also has told my brother to tell me these things as well and trying to continue setting up meetings with her, but I don't feel safe doing so since I would have to be so close to the respondent to do so. And I've made that ultimately clear to both parties.
All right, so then with this parent, you haven't had any contact, you said, from March 26th of 2022 until today,
Until July, when she sent the letter.
July,
Yes,
and then today.
Yes.
But with your brother, maybe you've been hearing things.
yes.
Okay, because you said this tactic, so that's what I'd like to know. So it's been 3.5 years. What
So
tactic?
before, when I lived with my partner at the time, she would do it frequently then. They would call me and tell me that the dog missed me and wanted to see me. They would often drop the dog off for long extended periods of time. There was one instance where the respondent was hospitalized in a mental hospital after I stopped speaking to them, and my brother had me come get the dog from their trailer so that the dog would not be alone anymore.
So this was all since you were 18 to March of 2022.
Yes,
Okay. And was, I guess, you didn't say no.
no,
Okay, you took the dog in or came to get it?
Yes.
Or, all right. Why?
because ultimately I didn't feel I had a choice because I do still care for the dog. She was my dog originally, so I have an immense amount of love for that animal and I don't want anything bad to come to her. So the thought that she was alone in that trailer really hurt me.
So you think that was a tactic, knowing your feelings
No.
about this dog?
I know
No.
that was not a tactic.
Okay, so that was an honest, not a tactic to harass you. So you talked about tactics to harass you or unlawfully harass you before March of 2022. What were some of those?
It was contacting me when I asked them not to, coming over unannounced, bringing their partner at the time over, even after I told them specifically that he was not welcome in my home, bringing him to the property after I was told them that my landlord did not want them in my home. And there was another instance when I was in my yard with the respondent and got into a heated discussion and they tried to make entry on my garage. I felt the need to shut the big door and lock all the doors to my house.
So then before March 26th of 2022, there was a time you told this parent not to contact you.
I asked them not to contact me during certain circumstances. So like if I'm busy for the day, please don't contact me. I'm doing this for the day. I'm at work for the day. Like reasons not to contact me, they would still find reasons to do so.
Okay. And so you would communicate this how?
It was either via text, in person, or over the phone. Just
Okay.
depends on the circumstance.
And then when your wish was not followed, how would you respond to all that?
I would often either just ignore it or tell them that they needed to leave me alone and then continue to ignore it.
Okay. Did you have any physical or emotional response from those?
Not that I can recall, no.
Okay. So that kind of started happening. When did you start having the panic attacks or the?
I believe that happened right as I moved out. Once I started feeling safe again, I'm gonna say, I noticed what I should feel like on a day-to-day basis. And then when I had contact with the respondent, those feelings came flooding back. So I realized that I did not want to contact with the respondent anymore.
So it was sometime before March of 2022, before you said don't contact, you started having these panic attacks.
Yes, it was about a year before, I believe.
All right, so sometime in 21 somewhere.
Yes.
And then told your parent, don't contact me by phone with the script, gave a photo of the script to them. And then you got the note in July, then your brother called you?
He called my father. My father told me.
Okay, all right. Step there, all right. Have you talked to your brother about this move at all?
I haven't talked to him about the move specifically, but I did talk to him about the petition.
Okay, all right. And so you don't know if they're 2 blocks away, you thought they were in Rainier.
Mhm.
All right. So I've asked a lot of questions, but anything else you want to say?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, let me just see if I have anything else to ask you before I turn to Elias Trinan. And you did, and this is what I think I recall. So there is a, presuming it's a Google map.
Mhm.
Um,
The yellow arrow is our house, and then the circled area, or I'm so sorry, the circled area is my current residence. The yellow area is where they're trying to move.
well, what I have is 1904 Bigelow and then a circle all around that. And so is that the 500 feet that you're
Yes.
thinking? Okay, all right. And you think that the residence that they may be going to would be outside of this 500 feet?
Oh, I know it is.
Okay.
They're moving to a property that used to be owned by a family member. So I know where they're planning to move to,
Okay. And,
and that's the marked location.
oh, I see, okay. Okay, yeah, understand that. All right. Okay, well, I'm going to turn to Elias Trinan and hear the response to this. What would you like to say about all this request for this order?
I never intended to cause any harm or damage to my daughter by sending this letter for her birthday. I have been under the care of a therapist for 5 years with the same therapist, same with a psychiatric med provider. I was counseled by my therapist that since it had been 3.5 years and I'd written her like 15 to 20 letters and burnt them, that it was time for me to send one. So I was going off of the advice of someone who had my mental health and well-being in hand. Can I speak to the things that were filed?
That's what this is all
Okay.
about.
I the CPS case, first of all, was opened when Athena was 4, and it was opened because her father had slapped her brother in the face so hard that he left a handprint, and he had spanked Athena so hard that she couldn't sit down. When that was opened, we talked to the caseworker. The caseworker talked to them separately. They came into the home, and ultimately it was decided that we were not in need of further intervention as long as we never repeated that behavior. So from then on, we both were very careful to try to control our anger. As Athena got older, I do agree that I was too hard on her. I do want to take responsibility for some of the things that she filed, but I don't want to go tit for tat. There are a few things that I would like to refute. She states that I forced her to share a room with me when I moved out of my ex-husband's house. When I moved into the house, I moved behind them for ease of transport for our children because they were 50% with me and 50% with him.
So when around was this?
I want to say like 2000, maybe 2001.
Okay.
Um,
So your daughter was about
16,
16? Okay.
15, 16, somewhere in there.
All right.
There's a gate between our houses, so they could just go backyard to backyard and be able to see either one of us at any time of the day or night. When we moved into the house behind where Athena lives now, I had to get a roommate because I could not afford the rent on my own. So I had a room, my roommate had a room, and then there was another room. And I offered to my children, either they share a room together or Athena could share with me since we're both female presenting. As soon as Aiden moved out when he was 18,
Aiden is,
my son, I'm sorry,
Okay.
my son Aiden moved out of my house fully, only coming to stay a night or here or there. He moved out of that bedroom, like I want to say 2 or 3 days later, after we got Athena's new bed frame, we moved her into that bedroom. So for the remaining amount of time she was in my home, she did have her own room. She did have access to a door that shut away from me. I did exist in our room together while she was there. A large part of that was because She was 15, 16, and her partner was there. And I did not feel it was appropriate for them to be in a room with a closed door at that point. So yeah, I hung out in a room. Plus, I'm also physically ill. So I can't do a lot of things all the time. So I do spend a lot of time kind of sitting in my bed trying to stay out of pain. Um, I am appalled and disgusted. I never masturbated while my daughter was in the room, asleep or not. That's disgusting. I would never do that. I can't imagine where that came from. Um, I am deeply sorry if that was something that she thought she experienced. I never would have done so. Um, I did not knowingly allow a predator into our home. The only time I can think of was a guy I was seeing came over drunk, and he proved that he had very bad intentions. As soon as I figured out what was going on and as soon as I could, I got him out of the house. He actually broke my wrist that night, trying to force me to do things in front of my daughter. That's when I said, okay, no, you're going. Um, I'm not unstable, as was stated in Nikki's statement. I've been med compliant since my diagnoses 5 years ago. I've been with my current therapist and psych provider for 4 to 5 years. I have been hospitalized in the mental ward multiple times. The last one was in the last 4 years. Every time I went in voluntarily, I recognized that I needed more intense care than what I could get outside the ward. Each time I had a total overhaul of my meds until we found the right ones, which I'm currently on. The last time I admitted myself was a year and a half ago. So I've been fully stable, fully med compliant, doing everyday normal stuff since then. I carry a diagnosis of bipolar 2, CPTSD, severe anxiety. I have psychotic tendencies, which is just that I hear voices in my head sometimes. I'm autistic, I have ADHD, but I am currently well medicated. The current letter that I wrote in July, I wrote with the help of my therapist. He helped me to try and make it non-manipulative. He said that I wasn't love bombing, gaslighting, or guilt tripping. He told me he wanted me to send this one because it was her 21st birthday. And he said the worst that would happen was that she would just ignore it. And I guess he was proved wrong here today. Prior to this letter, I did not reach out at all, unless I accidentally happened to be in the same space with her, which the only time I can think of that happened was her great uncle passed away, and I was very close with him and his wife. So his wife invited me to be at the memorial. I stayed as far away from Athena and her father and her stepmother as I possibly could.
When around did that happen?
Like 2 years ago.
So 2023?
No, probably 2024. I think it was last summer.
Okay, so all right, so you're in the same area.
We were at a park, and they had gone, or I was there first, so I stayed as far away as I could to one side. I was dragged back in by Tim's mom. We're still close, so she wanted me to sit with her, but it still was very far away from where Athena and her father and her stepmother were. I didn't even go that way to go to the bathroom, which was the pathway to the bathroom. I went around and went a different way because I didn't want to make her uncomfortable. I don't want to make her father uncomfortable. I just want to exist. And I was really hoping that I was just really hoping that she would read the letter. That's all. I never expected that she would actually reconnect. When I did offer that she could see Molly, and I have in the past, I haven't actually offered in the past. Aiden has taken it upon himself to offer to Athena to be able to see Molly. She is getting older. She's 11. Athena is correct. She was originally her dog, but I got her because she's also my service dog. I want Athena to be able to have any kind of relationship with her as she can possibly have. I've offered to leave my premises so that she can come get her. I've offered, well, Aiden and I talked about, and then he's offered that he can bring her to Athena so that she doesn't have to be anywhere near me. Um, Prior to this letter, I did not go to her place of work. I knew she worked at Ulta. I didn't go there. I went to the other one on the other side of town. I didn't even go to the Target that was next to Ulta because I didn't want her to think that I was just sitting there in my truck watching her. I have tried incredibly hard to turn off the part of me that wants to see her every day. I have not asked her brother for information or details about her when he's gone to visit.
So let me ask you, so the letter that you wrote in concert with your therapist, who you've been with for about 5 years, is what you're saying, this
Yes.
therapist? And you've written several letters and burned them.
Yes.
And then this letter that was received in July, a gift card, I understand that's not in the court file, but there's a note, a couple of pages, handwritten. And so you say that no intention to harm your daughter, wanted her to read it, but not expect any reunification.
No.
So why?
I have unresolved emotions surrounding my daughter. Or at least I perceived her to be my best friend for years. I probably spoke out of turn about a lot of things, but we did have some really amazing times together. We
So you wanted reunification, why, but you didn't expect it. So why write the letter?
because I was hoping.
Okay,
I was hoping that
is it at all part of your therapy?
yes,
And tell me, why is it part of your therapy?
because if she had ignored the letter and just let it go, we were going to work on letting her go completely and just wait for her to make the next move instead of me making the next move.
So when did you discover that she was not going to take this note well?
When I was served.
Okay, so in early September.
Yes, ma'am.
And so
Up until that point, I thought she was just ignoring it.
okay, and then since it's part of your therapy and the thought was, well, this will be it, and now I'll have to work on doing without her. Have you started that process?
Yes.
Okay, when did that start? When did you finally decide you had to
It was
give it up?
the second week of August.
Okay, so you gave it about 2 weeks and then
Yeah.
started that process. Okay, and then you were served a couple, 3 weeks later. All right.
And we do live in Rainier currently. It is a possibility that we will be moving back to the property that used to belong to my parents. It's not looking real likely at this point. We're still trying to iron out some details. We live in a 38-foot travel trailer, so we have to like get it parked and have hookups and all those things. I need to move in town so that I have access to medical care because I don't drive by myself, and Aiden can't drive yet. I needed to move back in town so that I have access to oh my gosh, my brain just farted. I'm so sorry. So I have access to the therapeutic offerings that are included in living in town. I'm part of a group therapy, support group, I guess. We were a group therapy group. We lost our facilitator and our space, so we got a different one. And I do help kind of run that. So I wanted to be able to have access to the people who might need comfort.
Let's see. And just see if I have any questions of you here before we forward.
The only time that I've been by their house was like, I think in June, I was with a friend of mine and I didn't realize we were going to that neighborhood. She was picking something up from someone that she was talking to online. I was like, we got to hurry up and get out of here. You know, I don't want to be in this neighborhood. This isn't healthy for either one of us. So I did hurry up and get us out of there. But that was the first time I'd been over there since I helped my son get there. I think it was 2 years ago.
So what is this all, this court hearing tell you about contact with your daughter?
I guess it's done. I'm gonna keep working with my therapist to let go.
Let me review a few things and then I'll see if I need to ask any more questions. And I've had the opportunity then to read Nicole Hamilton's sworn statement, and that's been helpful as well. So I have to find certain things that I can't find here. I'm not going to issue an order, and I'll tell you why. I have to find that there is an intention to commit a knowing and willful course of conduct that is unlawful harassment by Elias Trinan against Ms. Somerville. I can see that this is not a relationship that is fulfilling or helpful to Ms. Somerville, and can understand her intention and what she said to her parent way back in March of 2022. But we understand that this letter, this note that was sent in July, was part of a therapist's process, and there wasn't anything within the four corners of that that would be thought of as unlawful harassment. I understand, Ms. Somerville, you're saying all this thing in my life and then here, but it just doesn't amount at this stage to what the law says in unlawful harassment. I'm not saying it's not something you don't want,
Yeah, I
or
understand.
you feel harassed by it. That's valid.
Mhm.
But does the law say it the way the state legislature wrote it? It's not a knowing and willful course of conduct intended without any legitimate purpose by Elias Trinan against you to cause. And I can see you are suffering substantial emotional distress from this contact. And that's why this is not good for your daughter, unfortunately, to have any contact with you. So I'm not going to issue an order, but I got to tell you, there would be a course of conduct. There would be the ability for the court potentially to a legal standard to find a course of conduct if there's contact after this hearing
Yes, ma'am.
with Ms. Somerville. Even if it were part of your therapy to write a note, you best talk to your therapist, because your therapist would have no idea
Yes,
as
ma'am.
much as you would, but, well, may have some idea, but we can't put that on that therapist's shoulders. But we've all had this hearing and understanding. And so again, if there was contact with Ms. Somerville from you, this would be taken into account, may potentially find that course of conduct, may potentially find that your intent was not so much therapy or no intention to harm. At that point, it would look a little more suspicious.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now, I think it was unintended to harm your daughter and not intended to commit unlawful harassment. And now you've got to do your end and work on the therapy that you've started and make that tough realization that Ms. Somerville is better without you. And she knows she's better without you. And that just happens, you know. So I'm going to deny the petition in that sense, not issue an order going farther, but doesn't mean that anyone gets to have contact. You don't have to have contact with anyone you don't want to. And, but there isn't any prohibition. Now, maybe if you have good contact with your brother, maybe that would be a good thing that you could find out if indeed they start to move to the old family property. And then you could be forewarned. You know, it's up to you though, you know, if that's through your family or not, or what, you make those decisions. All right, so that's it for today. I'll sign that denial order. I can hand you copies today if you wanted to wait, or it'll be in the court file for you to get. What would you like to do?
I'll just wait for it. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So, and who are you?
My name is Nicole Lynn Hamilton. I am her stepmom.
Okay, you got a question?
So if Elias Trinan does move into the neighborhood, at what point would it be unlawful contact with her, possibly driving through the neighborhood and driving by our house? At what point do we start documenting?
Well, I can't answer what you're gonna do or not do, and I can't answer a maybe, a supposition, I gotta see facts and then apply the law. So, all right.
So just document what we can.
I can't give you any advice of any kind. All right. Let me finish this up. Just stay right where you are. It's probably easiest that way. Somerville, if you could come on up here, we'll give you a copy, then you and your people can be on your way. Welcome. Good luck to you. All right. Maybe you can wait 5 minutes, let them clear, so you don't have to bump into each other and you can step back.